This is the 2023 Hyundai Ioniq 5. This is a limited trim and it is in cyber gray. Now this is a carryover model from 2022 where they won Car of the Year, but in 2023, is it still the Car of the Year? Or is it just another great EV? Let me tell you about this car, and then you tell me whether you still think it should be awarded the Car of the Year. This is a carryover from 2022, but for 2023, they did make some software adjustments. So you did get a bump in range, going from 256 miles of range up to 266 miles. The other thing that they did was they added the battery heating system in this, and that will also help you with preconditioning when you're en route to a DC fast charger. It does have to plug it into the navigation for it to work, but it will heat up your battery so you can get the fastest charging possible. And that's across all of their trim levels. The other thing that hasn't changed though is this all-wheel drive still has 320 horsepower, which if you've driven one or test driven one, you know that that is enough power for this car and is a little bit higher than some others. Before I show you guys the interior of this car, go down, hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the like button while you're down there so you don't miss any more reviews, and let's get inside. All right, the interior. So here is the door panel. You have all of your controls right here. This handle actually, it feels pretty good. Some of them have been complaining that these feel a little cheap, but I think they feel really good. Got a door pocket down here, really doesn't hold much. You get one bottle in there and maybe your sunglasses. These seats are fully powered, of course. Go forwards, backwards. This does have the lounge feature in it also. You do have lumbar control. So for your lounge feature, you press this button once. It's gonna say make sure there's enough room. You're gonna press it again, and then it is going to go all the way back. It is going to relax, lay you back in your seat, and bring up the support for your calves. And you have a complete lounging area for whenever you're charging, so you can be relaxed while you're waiting. Maybe take a nap. With that back, just press it, and it will move everything back, including you. It will sit up, and then it will slide you all the way forward, back to your original position. This does just have the black interior, but they are pretty comfortable seats, and I like that it just have this little piping around the outside to give you a little contrast. And it does have a decent amount of room. The dash is pretty nice. It's a pretty cool design. There you've got your info, and there is your driver's display. It's pretty nice. Go back, here's your steering wheel, and we'll get in depth here real quick about some of this stuff. You do have this center console, and the cool thing about the center console is that it does slide back and forth. So that's pretty cool. All right, let's get inside and look at things a little bit closer. Okay, as you can see, there is some ambient lighting around the speaker. A lot of this stuff here is pretty soft. It's not bad. This is plastic here, and then you've got some like fake carbon fiber right here, which is hard plastic. And you do have your glove box, which is actually pretty big. It's kind of narrow, but it's deep. So that works out pretty well. Across here, you do have a speaker up here, and you do have a heads-up display, which actually is pretty good. Not sure if I can get you in an angle to be able to see that real well. You can kind of see it out there, right there in the bush there. But it is really big and really bright on the road. So that is a huge plus. Now we're going to look at this infotainment screen, and it is really nice. It's very quick. It just swipes. You can go to things, and it does work very well. It's pretty snappy, not too bad. I do like how it tells if you have your air on, you get 214 miles. If you have your fan off, it's 218 miles. That's a pretty big gap for just running a fan. So maybe they need to upgrade some fans that aren't pulling as much power. So then we can go back here, and you do have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, but they are wired. So if you get the SEL trim, I believe with a smaller screen, then you do get wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, but on the Limited trim with this larger screen, you do not. It is a wired system. It's kind of backwards to me. I would think if you're paying to get the bigger screen, you should be getting wireless and the other one not have it. Okay, so let's check out how much space there is back here. The door's open to a pretty good angle. We get inside here. Seat is set in my driving position, and I still have about 3 inches or so between my knees and the back of the seat, so that's good. Comfort feels pretty good. The seats are pretty nice. My knees might be in a little bit higher position, but I am about 6 foot, so I've got a little bit longer legs than some people might, but that's all good. So headspace, I sit directly below the panoramic roof, so I've actually got a lot of room back here for my head. That's not a problem. Other than that, that's everything. It feels good back here, feels comfortable. I like these vents here on the door pillars, so those are good. One other thing that this does have back here, you can recline the seats. So this does go back. But one thing to mention is that if you have that cargo cover in back there, then you can't recline your seat back as far as you would be able to if you took it out. Now, come on inside and I will give you a little bit better look of what's going on back here. Okay, here is the door panel on the back side. There's obviously not a whole lot of room down in this cubby hole here, but there is a nice little ledge back in here that you can put your cell phone or whatever you need to back there. This does also have the shades for the back, so that's a nice touch. Here you can see how much room there is back here, other than when you saw my knees. The little bungee netting right here, you can get a few things in the back. Then there's 2 USB ports right there, little cubby hole right there. And the cool thing is this does have ambient lighting around the speakers also. There's that door on that side. Not a whole lot going on back here. But so if you didn't know, the Limited trim gets these cool headrests. They are adjustable, and everybody says, okay, well, yeah, all headrests are adjustable because this can go up and down. But how many headrests actually move forward? It's pretty cool, huh? And then you push it one more and you bring it all the way back. Little touch if you didn't know, but that's something the Limited trims get. Other than that, there's really not much to say about anything crazy back here. You do have a center console that folds out, and you do have 2 cup holders there, but that's really about it. Quick show of my headroom. You have this seat still tilted back some, but you can see my headroom right here. I guess I'm not directly over the panoramic roof, but you can slide the seats forward and backwards if you didn't realize that. So that would actually I didn't know that till just now. I found the handle. So this would give you a little more extra room in that cargo area if you needed it. Let me get you some pricing on this Ioniq 5, and then we'll take it out for a drive. Okay, pricing on this 2023 Ioniq 5. You can start out with the SE standard range, which will give you about 220 miles. That comes in at $41,450 to start. If you go up to the SE long range, which is your 74 kilowatt hour battery, with rear wheel drive, you get 303 miles of range, and with all wheel drive, you get 266 miles of range. That starts at $45,500. The all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive numbers will carry out through all of the trims. Your SEL is going to come in at $47,450 to start. Limited trim starts at $52,600. And this one right here, as tested, comes in at $54,100, and that is pricing as of October of 2023. We've been driving this for about 4 or 5 days now, and I feel comfortable driving in here. It's very nice to some extent. I am 6 foot, and what I'm finding out is to get myself in a good driving position, I have to sit a little bit closer because the steering wheel for me doesn't come back far enough. So that is one thing that I think needs to improve on, is they need to make the steering wheel a little more adjustable. It just needs to come back about another inch or so, and then I would feel a little more comfortable. I'm up so far that my knee is actually hitting this console right here. It's kind of in a bad spot. Kind of wish this was moved over a little bit more, give me a little bit more space here. If I go up farther, then I'm going to be into the here, and when I lift my leg up, you see right now I'm hitting the driver's stock right there. So that's not the best situation there. Others might not have as much problem fitting in here as I am right now, but if you are taller than 6 foot, it's probably going to be a little tight for you. We're going to do a launch real quick. You are 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds, I believe is what it's supposed to be, but I'll double check and have the number up on the screen of what it actually is. Let's get straightened up here. Nobody's coming. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that really throws you back. And there's 60. All right, yeah, so I would say it probably is about 4.5. If not, then it's right around 5 seconds, but like I said, we'll have the actual number up on the screen for you. How would I rate this car, actually? How I would rate this among EVs and how I like to drive. I owned an ID4. I enjoyed the interior of the ID4 and I loved driving it. To me, this car is a little more futuristic, is a little bit different, a little step up in some of the technology wise, but to me, it just feels like a plain car in here. As I'm driving and stuff, I don't feel like I am driving this futuristic car, apart from the outside of the car. The exterior of the car, I love the design. You know, it has that 80s hatchback retro look to it, which I kind of grew up in the 80s, so you know, the first thing that comes to my mind, and it's probably not a perfect example, is the Honda CRX back in the 80s. That was a pretty cool little hatchback. There was a lot of hatchbacks back then, so that's just the first one that comes to my mind. I do like the way it looks on the outside, but inside and in this interior in here, a lot of space. I really love how much space there is in here. There's a decent amount of storage space also, which is really, really good. But the downfall to me is that I don't feel like I'm driving anything special. That's just how I feel. I just don't feel special. Like, I don't feel like this car is anything superbly special. It is a very good car, and last year when it hit the market, it was huge. There was huge buzz around this car, and I can see why. I mean, it was the design, and the biggest thing was the charging. When you can charge up to 350 kilowatts, that is massive, and you're not going to be able to do that everywhere. You got to have the right conditions. You got to have the right charger that is capable of an 800-volt system. It's not going to happen most of the time, but you have that capability, and if you get into the right situation, you can charge from 10% to 80% in 18 minutes. That's unreal. That is so freaking awesome. You're getting close to territory of filling up your gas tanks. So that is the amazing part of this car, and the way this is designed, it's nice, it's fine, but it doesn't feel like it's really anything special to me. The suspension and the ride and everything is really good. Going around corners and everything like that, I love the way it behaves. It does a really good job. I love how the rear wheel is predominant. Other than that, I just feel like I'm just driving any normal Hyundai car, which Hyundais, you know, they make great cars, they make great vehicles. So I'm not disappointed in that, and I honestly don't feel that you will be disappointed in this car. I think, especially if this was your first EV, you're going to be like, wow, this is awesome. This is amazing. It's really cool. If it's not your first EV, you're going to get in here, and depending on what you drove before, you're going to be like, yeah, this is nice. It's decent. It's adequate, and I can be comfortable in here. So, hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, hit the like button, and make sure you hit the subscribe button also, because you don't want to miss any more of my reviews, and I hope to see you in the next one.